publications Issuu stories for distribution on Apple News and social media. Plus, we'll cover how you can participate in a new revenue share program we have with Google Adsense. Before we do that, we do have some initial items to cover, some housekeeping rules. Everyone is muted on this webinar, so if you have any questions for us, please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your webinar screen. We'll try and get to as many questions as possible during the webinar, and if we don't, we'll respond to you individually after the webinar. This presentation is also being recorded today. You'll get a copy of the recording later on this week, and it'll also be posted on our help center as well. First things first, for some of you that are new to Issuu, you may have some initial questions about the advantages of using Issuu, such as what features on Issuu will drive traffic to my publication? Can Issuu help me find more readers? And can Issuu help me monetize my content? And can Issuu help drive people to my website and my social media platforms? If you had any of these questions on top of mind, the answer to all of them is yes. Issuu can do all these things for you, especially by creating stories from your content. Once your content is on Issuu, you can easily begin using stories and other tools that we supply on Issuu to grow and expand your brand. What we're covering today on this webinar are the following. What are Issuu stories? How to create a story from your content, distribution of stories, some strategies, some sharing tips, the new revenue sharing program that we're excited to announce today, statistics, and then Megan's gonna go ahead and provide a live demo. Starting from the very beginning, what are Issuu stories? Now, some of you may have joined us for our social sharing webinar back in May, and hopefully you're now pros at creating and sharing stories. But for those of you who are new to stories and new to Issuu, here's a quick recap. Stories are the best way to show your readers the great content that's actually inside your publications. With story sharing, you can highlight and share articles, spreads, or stories inside your publication, whether it's a cool Q&A, a fashion editorial, recipes, awesome assets, and more. Sharing stories is a great way for readers to go beyond the cover and get a better sense of what's inside. So hopefully any of those examples that I just mentioned resonates with you. It's also becoming its own media format, especially when it comes to sharing stories on social media platforms such as Snapchat and Instagram. So if you run social media at your organization, I'm talking to you right now, as you're thinking about your content planning and publishing processes, make sure Issuu Stories is part of your content strategy. The best part of stories is that they're optimized for mobile devices. And now Issuu is enabling more ways to have your content discovered on Issuu's channels and with our integration on Apple News for iOS devices. We also have more integrations coming soon that we'll announce so we can help bring your content to platforms where your readers already consume content the most. Story sharing is the ultimate way to build your brand, engage your audience, and get more readers. People want to see what's inside your publication, which is why stories are a valuable way to engage those readers beyond the cover. Use stories to highlight specific articles or showcase highly visual content with engaging spreads for tablets and slick scrolls for mobile phone readers. We're starting to see a major shift in the digital content marketplace where stories is becoming its own media format, like I mentioned before. So, what does that mean to you? It's a new way to connect with audiences on a deeper level with specific and more targeted content based on each article. Stories on Issuu also gives you functionality that other channels do not by allowing you to editorialize your publication in a way that communicates the essence of your brand in both images and words. By segmenting out your long format, you can create more content to reach more people and Megan will show you about all of this later on. Two of the biggest draws of stories are first, that they are mobile optimized. So you saw in that little example on the screen, it lets readers scroll through stories on the device they use most. And second, you have more content to share on your editorial calendars, and now we're pushing your content out to major platforms such as Apple News without doing any more work. That's the takeaway, without doing any more work. Plus, we now have the opportunity for you to earn a profit on stories with Google Adsense. Stories are great for reading content on smaller mobile screens, but still allows readers to view your original pub as stories on larger desktop screens. You can also create as many stories from the same publication as you want. So if your editorial calendar is looking a little bare and you don't have enough content to share, this would be the perfect solution. So let's talk about distribution. How are we going to get all of this awesome content in front of your readers and new potential readers? One of the most difficult parts about growing a brand from scratch, or even growing an existing brand, is where to find and grow your audience. With Issuu, it's easy because the audience is already there waiting for your content to be published. Each day, publications become instantly available to active readers around the world who use Issuu's site and mobile apps to discover and engage with what they love. This is everything from magazines, newspapers, student portfolios, catalogs, do-it-yourself guides, community programs, even quarterly reports. So no matter what type of organization you work for, no matter the vertical, no matter the industry, stories can be used across the board. To give you some stats, there are over 25 million documents that have been uploaded to Issuu with over 4 billion, not million, but billion monthly page views and over 100 million unique visitors per month, with an average read time of nearly 5 minutes per publication. This gives publishers on Issuu massive reach and an amazing opportunity for engagement with a global audience. It doesn't matter if you're a large, internationally recognized brand looking to make your publications more accessible, or an upstart looking to quickly grow a new audience. This audience is the largest of its kind, and publishers can use the tools on Issuu to amplify their voice and expand their reach regardless of how established the brand is currently. For stories in particular, we are promoting them in our Issuu Stories page feed right on our homepage and in our read section. So the screenshot that you see here is directly from our homepage. When you go to issuu.com and you want to log in and publish new content, we are advocating and we are publicizing stories all over our front page. We've provided added reader promotion that many digital publishing platforms do not offer, nor do they have this big of a built-in audience. We're also continuing to promote full publications as well. Now let's get into the newest audience that we recently facilitated for our publishers. It's finally time to share the exciting information about our new partnership with Apple News. That was my crude representation of a drum roll. Apple News, we are thrilled to announce another amazing benefit of being a publisher on Issuu. We are now an approved Apple News channel, and therefore we're approved to distribute and promote your stories content to millions of more readers on Apple devices. For those of you who are new to Apple News, here's a bit more about how it works and why this is a huge added benefit of becoming an Issuu Stories publisher. Currently, Apple News is available only in the US, United Kingdom, and Australia. So the content does need to be in English and be editorial quality. Anyone can apply directly to publish on Apple News, but there is a registration and approvals process with Apple, as well as ongoing work to set up your content and add it to an Apple News feed. Before any content shows up in Apple News, the applicant must register as a publisher, set up a channel, and get samples of your content approved by Apple's editorial team. So Issuu realized all of this requires a lot of time and effort on your part. The awesome news about this is that we decided to make life a lot easier for you, the content creator, by handling all of this for you. On behalf of Issuu publishers that agree to actively create stories on Issuu. We've already applied to Apple News by sharing a sampling of various stories content on Issuu with the Apple editorial team. And when we got our approval from Apple to have our Apple News publisher page, we knew it would be a win-win for our publishers, for Issuu, and for millions of readers on Apple, because each story appears on the Issuu Apple News channel feed, and we've made sure to display a credit for each publisher and author that produces the story content, as well as display any photo captions or credits. We set up an automatic feed to share our stories right into Apple News. So once you create a story on Issuu, there is no need for you to separately format it for Apple News, because we will do that on our end. We also organize your content into popular topics or categories so people can find travel, food and drink content, arts and entertainment, style and fashion, and people profiles. Just be sure to pick the category when you create a story so we can add it to our feeds as we continue to expand featured categories on Issuu. Lastly, we plan to report statistics on your stories each month. We'll discuss statistics and more in detail in a little bit. All that's required by you is to make stories. The more volume, the more reads, and the more ways you can connect with the brand new audience on Apple devices, the better. And for those of you on this webinar, we've identified that your content is the right mix of great stories content that our team at Issuu can curate for the Issuu Apple News feed. The selection criteria is based on high-quality editorial, professional quality photography, and stunning visuals. Current trending topics or relevant evergreen lifestyle content that fit the Apple News categories. Plus, as stated earlier, the content must be in English. To make sure your stories in publication are discovered by our editorial team, we encourage you to create a story and share on social with the hashtag #IssueStories. That way, we'll be on the lookout for your new content. Plus, you can always contact members of the CS team, the customer success team, to inquire about having a specific story run on Apple News. Once you've created a story from your content on Issuu, just email us at support@issuu.com. Depending on how often you publish new content, we encourage you to produce 5 to 10 stories. Again, 5 to 10 stories per publication so that we can include you in our upcoming Apple News feed. Again, just share and tag any stories that you create on social with Issuu Stories, as that's the best way for us to capture your content. But we'll also check our platform regularly for new stories that have been created by our publishers, since the volume of stories created by our publishers will help with the success of these new programs. At this time, we also have the revenue share program with Google Adsense that will kickstart your profits. We'll share more about Google Adsense in just a few. But let's review social media sharing for stories next. Here are some tips for success. We offer a ton of great social sharing tools that help you drive to your stories. We have best practices and tools for sharing on desktop, and now we have the best practices and tools for sharing mobile stories. So the image on the left here on your screen is the desktop experience, and the image on the right is the experience on mobile. Included here is a recap on story sharing. By using Issuu Stories share links and social buttons as well as GIFs, we'll also cover how to maximize your use of each of these share features and additionally provide some helpful tips on sharing your content across different social media channels. When viewing Issuu's content on desktop, there is a share button in our reader that brings up the option to share your story from the cover or from a page number. Select share this story and you can copy the link to share it. Or you can use one of our share buttons, as you see on the screen, to post your story on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or an email. You can easily select any of the available buttons to quickly post your content with engaging thumbnails, and the link is copied into your post. The link for your story displays as a flippable screen reader from the exact first page of your story on desktop or on mobile. The link for your story displays as a scrollable mobile optimized version, as you saw here. On mobile web and in Issue's mobile apps, you can use many of the share buttons that are enabled from your device to share your story to readers as a mobile optimized version or desktop version. Remember, when you create stories, even if you share your full publication, readers can still navigate to your stories. But now you have story links to share each of your stories directly to your audience, so you can send topic-driven content and highlight each article in your publication. GIFs. Here's another awesome tool that we released earlier this year to help distribute and tease your content. GIFs are short animated videos of your publication that can be shared on social media. On Issuu, you can create one by choosing up to 5 pages from your publication. And the Issuu GIF is standard 900 by 900 pixels. So why do you want to create these GIFs? Once created, you can share the GIF in your email newsletters and social media feeds. GIFs are by far the best ways to showcase your publication in your social feeds. And with GIFs, you can entice your readers by using a highly visual way of promoting your content. The GIF itself isn't clickable, but you can easily add the story link to your post, send it to readers, and direct them to the content via the story link. This is especially useful for content that is highly visual and engaging at a quick glance. It allows you to empower your reader by sharing your content easily. Take one of the most powerful tools you have, which is your current audience. By having your content on Issuu and enabling the option for reader sharing, your fans can help spread the word for you with just a couple of clicks. You should also ask your readers to share your content. This is easy with Issuu because Issuu is an interactive platform which encourages reader engagement and sharing. You can also post your full screen shareable reader link on social and ask them to support the content they love. Again, to highlight, GIFs are a great way to promote your content across social media. Publications with engaging photos are perfect for this feature. It easily allows you to share with Facebook, Twitter, and definitely Instagram. So did you know that Issuu provides you with a social media toolkit? Many more tips and tricks can be found in our publication called the Social Sharing Toolkit for Publishers. You can access these tips on your desktop or mobile from Issue's publisher page, which is issuu.com/issue, the link up in black above. And we've sectioned out our toolkit with stories as well. So you can scroll or click right to the social media platforms you're interested in most. On your Issuu app, search for Issuu under Publishers, and you will be able to read these tips as mobile optimized stories. Note that every platform is different and has nuances or tricks that are important for you to learn before you share. So please take time to familiarize yourself with each platform. These platforms have evolving functionality, so we are continuously updating our social sharing toolkit for publishers with the latest and greatest best practices. Here are some tips for posting awesome content onto social. And you can find more tips on social sharing as well as video tutorials in our Help Center or on our blog at blog.issuu.com, where we have tons of content to help you with sharing and marketing your content, but we wanted to call these specific tips out. Finding your voice, whether it's business-like or casual, find your social media voice and stick with it. Catering to your target audience. Study your reader stats, specifically in your Issuu dashboard. Where are they and what interests them? Use tags and hashtags. Create unique, memorable hashtags with your publication name or using a topic in your story. Make sure your readers can see it and use hashtags frequently. Teasing your story or publication. Don't wait. Just don't wait to publish. Tease your content and release sneak peeks. This is a great option for stories and for GIFs. Interact with your readers. Like their posts that you're tagged in. Repost from followers that use your hashtags. And always try to comment. Another awesome announcement that we would love to make today is our new revenue sharing program with Google Adsense. Because we've invited you to join our webinar today, we think you'd be a great fit for our new Google Adsense Alpha program where you can monetize your stories content. Please remember that this is an alpha program and that we, you, Issuu, and Google will be working together to develop this program. What this means is that Issuu will be taking your feedback and providing it to Google so that we can collectively build a product with features that works best for you, the publisher. What to expect from Issuu. Throughout this program, Issuu will be rolling out the sign-up process for Google AdSense so that you can sign up and then connect your Google AdSense account ID with Issuu. And once you've completed the AdSense sign-up process and submitted your AdSense account ID to Issuu, we will need to approve your account. In this case, you are already approved. If you already are an existing Google AdSense publisher, Issuu will just need your AdSense publisher ID. Issuu is going to be rolling out monetization with stories ads and also ads that display next to the publications in our full screen reader. We will also have in-publication ads coming soon. So creating and sharing stories on Issuu is a key part of this, which is why we've provided a lot of information on this webinar, how to create and share stories. One thing to note, that the ads will only appear on stories published or shared via an Issuu link, not on Apple News. I'll repeat that one more time. Ads will only appear on stories published or shared via an Issuu link and not on Apple News. The revenue share that you as a publisher can expect on Issuu is to receive 60% of the total ad revenue. The Issuu publisher development team will be able to help and troubleshoot with issues that are specific to Issuu.com. For example, account approval, monetization settings on Issuu, stories and document page issues, and so forth. So contact publisher development at Issuu.com, as you see in blue at the bottom of your screen. What you can expect from Google. Google will be paying you, the publisher, directly, and you can find supported payment methods right here on that link below on that third bullet point. Throughout the sign-up process, you'll be asked for your payment and tax information. And do note, Issuu will never ask you for this information, and Issuu will never ask you for your account password. Through the Google AdSense interface, you'll be able to set up your brand controls, see your revenue directly, and run reports for your account. Major takeaway here is that Issuu will not be able to administer independent brand controls for you as a brand. You control this specifically to your account. Again, for general help, feel free to click on that link below or write this link down and surf Google support pages. What to look out for next is that Issuu will send out additional information once our sign-up process has been completed so that you can get started with monetizing your content on Issuu with ads. We thank you for your patience throughout this entire process and throughout this program, and we're excited to have you on board to join Issuu in this alpha program with Google. Now that you are planning to be up and running with creating and sharing stories, plus taking advantage of our newest program with Apple News and Google AdSense, let's talk about how to track your readership statistics. The ability to monitor your publications is absolutely invaluable, and Issuu makes it extremely easy to access, customize, and understand. With Issuu statistics, you can track your lifetime stats on the number of reads, read time, your number of followers, likes, shares, and how often your readers are clicking on your publication links. All this can be looked at in your statistics view from a high level of all your content combined. This is great for monitoring your overall brand health and growth. to a publication level so you can compare your past and present publications to get a feel of your growth issue to issue. And finally, to a page level to measure and compare your content and see what is resonating most with your audience. Currently, the statistics for your stories viewed on Issue's channels and stories shared with an Issue story link counts as part of your page stats when you're looking at your statistics. We don't have stories statistics separated out quite yet, but are working on enabling that feature or sending an email with the stories statistics report. We are also planning to send you customized monthly email reports to share statistics on the stories that run on your Apple News channel. For Google AdSense, you'll be able to log into your account and track performance in your AdSense dashboard. So that was a lot to consume. Totally get it. Again, this information will be posted on our Help Center. This deck is going to be sent out to you in the recording, with the recording. And so now it's time to see the live demo of stories from Megan. So I will stop sharing and Megan will now share her screen to show you how to create stories.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Audrey. So again, my name is Megan and I'm the lead on stories, curation, and creating. So today we're going to be going over how to create a story from your publications. So here we are on your publisher dashboard. We're logged in as Atlas Magazine today to just show the process of building a story. So starting out from your dashboard, you will go over to the distribute and go to distribute there, where you'll see you can create your mobile stories, GIFs, or the Facebook app. When creating mobile stories, you can select which publication of all publications in the drop-down list here. So with that, we're going to use the latest issue, the Brazen issue, to create our story today. So to create stories, you are going to click to select the page range or pages that you want to be in your mobile optimized story, simply by clicking on each page, or if you are holding down the Shift key on your keyboard, you can select a full range and it will pull the range from whichever you selected from. From there, you'll see over on the right here, you can add your story title. So this is a story on Spectrum Beauty, as well as a short description, which is the description that will show up if you are featured on Apple News or any other spaces, to just give a little bit more information about the story that you're going to read. So I'm just going to write short description about your story here. So as Audrey mentioned earlier, we have categories that you will identify your story in. So we have 19 categories, and some of the main ones being those arts and entertainment, style and fashion, and many more. So this one is going to be a style and fashion publication. And from there, we'll go and click next. And that will bring us to the story editor tool. So the story editor tool is a pretty cool way to easily mobile optimize your story. Over here on the left side, you have your original publication spreads as they were uploaded. And on the right is the mobile optimized side, where we'll be pulling in the content and building your story. So just to start off, I'm going to choose the cover photo for my story. So this is going to be the first photo that you see as your photo preview in any spaces, as well as the first photo that appears in your mobile optimized story. So I'm going to choose this one. You can see when you are, when you preview your full story, when you preview your full story, you'll be able to see this image. Your cover photo will show in full. So even if it looks sort of cut off here, it's going to show up in full in your final story publication. From there, I am going to pull in text as my first block, which is simple as clicking on the text block and it will carry over in the paragraph style. So I like to build stories with text right after my image. This way it doesn't have too many images and it looks more like a full article that you can go and dig into and read a little bit more on. So from there, I'm going to continue to carry the text over from the original publication into my story. And now I'm going to add an image. So I'm going to add that first image just by clicking it, and it should upload right there. So another thing that you can do with your stories will be the different text styles. So as you can see in the original publication, they use sort of a subtitle style, a little bit different to differentiate the type of text you have in that. So I'm going to mimic that by using the subtitle style in this drop-down list here. We also have headlines, paragraph style is the normal style, quotations, as well as bylines for any credits that you have in your original publication. So I'm just going to continue to carry the text over and add the images as well. So since there are quite a few images all in a row here, I want to click to add them, but I think I'm going to move some to break up the body text here. So I can do that by clicking on the move up or move down button, which just lets me add a little bit more variety in my story publication. I'm going to finish up adding the text here. And then add in those last images, as well as this final line. And we see in this circumstance that the text is carrying over a little bit split up just from the way that it is reading the PDF. So in order to merge that, we're going to use the merge up button, which is when you hover over, it's going to be this button here, which will let you merge your text into one block of text. You can also unmerge text if you want by clicking on the split button here or by clicking enter. And I'm going to use this as a credit line, so that's going to be a byline there. So now that we have created the story, I want to add a little bit more interesting aspects, I would say. So I'm going to take a quote from one of the interviewees. So as an artist, I see spectrum as an opportunity to put more positivity in the world. I'm going to copy that and use the new segment feature here at the bottom. So this lets you add just a blank segment where you can add any type of text, additional text, or if you want to add variation in your content. So I'm going to use that to paste that quote I had and create it as a quote style so I can add it for a little bit more interest in my story overall. I'm also going to add one more segment just to add a story exclusive call to action to drive readers to read more through my publication on the issue. So I'm going to write, read more from the Brazen issue on Issuu today. And I'm going to use, let's use a subtitle just to really bring a call out for that final piece. So once I am done, I can preview my story. And you can see here what it's going to look like from your phone, which I think it's looking good. So I'm going to click publish. You could also click publish now from your preview. And once you're ready to publish, you just click publish now and your story will be live. And you can take this link, copy it, and use that for any of your social posts or to go straight to the publication. So when you are sharing this link, you will mobile readers will see this mobile optimized view here, where desktop viewers like myself, if you're going to this link, you'll go directly to the page range from your story as the desktop view. This way, no matter what platform you're on, you're getting the best version that you can on the relevant platform optimized for you. You can also see here at the what's inside from desktop view, you can see the multiple stories that we already have created, which lets you just click and go directly to those stories. And again, you can then preview those stories. I'm gonna just force preview as a phone. You can preview these stories from a phone perspective as well. So this is kind of what it would look like from your phone. This is more of a visual story in particular. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on the story side in terms of building stories out.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Again, the recording of this webinar will be made available to you afterwards. I do want to answer some questions that are coming in. Some of them are really great questions that would benefit everyone attending right now. Jason asked, are stories a good investment for smaller regional publications? Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, you know, if you are a big global brand or an upstart or even a regional brand targeting, you know, a tri-city area, yes, stories will benefit your publication. Get more readers by showing them what's inside the cover. Usually folks, when they look at the cover, they may glance at maybe the first editorial, maybe they'll even glance at the first couple of pages. Stories is a great way to tease what's inside your content so that you can continue to build a reputation with your readers. So I encourage very heavily for you to create stories, no matter small or big your publication is today. It's a great question, Jason. Question from Brandy, to clarify, you have to upload a story to be featured on Apple News. Yes, you have to create a story on Issuu, publish it on Issuu to have it carry over into Apple News. And then a question from Lubna, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Do we have to pay an extra fee to share our individual stories to Apple, or is it included in our package? The answer is it's included in your package. No matter what plan you're on, from our basic free plan to our optimum plan and everything in between, stories is a feature included on all plans, and all have the ability to be pushed into Apple News. So there is no additional fee. And I'm looking at the time. I would love to answer more questions live here, but I'm going to have to reach back out to you all individually if I did not get to your answers, to your questions. Megan and I thank you so much on behalf of Issuu for joining us today and learning about stories and our big partnership with Apple News and our big program with Google AdSense. If you have any further questions, feel free to write into support@issuu.com and our team will get back to you as quickly as possible. Do refer to our help content on our help center. And again, a copy of this webinar will be sent to you on email as well as posted to our help center. Thanks again, guys. We appreciate you, and thanks for joining us today.